Pokemon Generation 9 has just been announced with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and it got me thinking of all the possible new Pokemon that we could see in the upcoming generation, as well as what regional variants we may see. With the region seemingly being based off of Spain, I looked into a number of Spanish stories, myths, and traditions to come up with some regional variants of older Pokemon that I think we could see in these new games. So without further ado, I'm Captain Fidget, and these are 5 regional variants to expect in Generation 9.
Number 5.
The running of the bulls, or encierro, is one of Spain's most widely known traditions, the most famous of which takes place in Pamplona, during the 9-day festival of San Fermin, where each morning after the first day a small herd of bulls are let loose through the cordoned-off streets of the city, and any adult wishing to prove their bravado try to outrun the bovine stampede. The event comes to an end when the bulls reach their intended destination of the Bull Ring, where they will take part in a fight with a matador later that day. Now, despite bullfighting being outlawed in many cities within Spain, it still remains a long-standing tradition and cultural touchstone of the country. As such, I believe we may see a regional variant of Tauros to represent this, likely a normal fighting or pure fighting type. I imagine they'd be more defined than their Cantonian counterparts and have deep black fur to be closer to the real-life Toro Bravo species that are used in the festivities, perhaps with golden horns similar to the colours worn by many matadors.
Number 4.
In 1894, the young King of Spain, Alfonso XIII, lost a tooth. To ease his worries, a writer was contracted to write him a story. Enter Luis Coloma, who told the tale of Ratoncito Perez, a little mouse who lived with his family in a box of cookies and used the city's pipe waste to make his way to the homes of all the children who had lost their teeth and replaced them with small gifts. This story was so beloved that Ratoncito Perez has a memorial plaque in Madrid, where his home was said to be, and the original manuscript for the story still resides in the vaults of the Royal Palace Library. If I were to create a regional variant based on this story, I would choose Rattata and Raticate to represent little Perez, and I'd make them a fairy type, as this is effectively the story of a little mouse tooth fairy. I know we've had an Alolan version of Rattata and Raticate already, but if Meowth can have a bunch of regional variants, then why can't they?
Number 3.
Children all across Spain know and fear the tale of El Coco. A shadowy figure, draped in a cloak, who stalks the rooftops looking for prey. So to any children who misbehave, Coco will pay a visit, and when Coco comes to find you, no one will ever see you again. As you can tell, this folk story is super dark, so naturally any Pokemon who would be used as a stand-in for Coco would become a dark type, and I think the ultimate fit would be Dusk Noir. It fits the description of a shadowy figure draped in a cloak perfectly, especially when you consider you need a Reaper Cloth to evolve into it. Maybe its regional variant would need a different evolutionary item, perhaps a Reaper Cloak. I also think the Dark and Ghost typing would fit here perfectly. Design-wise, we could bring the collar Dusk Noir has up and turn it into a hood, obscuring the face further, and make those yellow accents blood red.
Number 2.
Outside a humble village, there lived a dragon. Whenever it approached, poison filled the air, killing all the local plant life and suffocating the villagers. To appease the dragon, the king ordered for a sheep to be sacrificed every day to the beast. But for the dragon, this was not sufficient. So the king ordered for children from the village to be used as sacrifices instead. And so it was. Day by day, children were led to the dragon to be devoured, in hopes of satiating his appetite. Every day this occurred, the children being chosen by a random lottery, until the day the king's own daughter was chosen to be fed to the beast. Fortunately for her, that day just so happened to be the same day that a knight named George, or in the Spanish telling, Jorge, was passing by the village. He saw the hideous creature and drove his lance into its breast before it could devour the princess. From the wound where his lance had struck, a single drop of blood fell to the floor, and where it landed, a rose grew. You might recognize this as the legend of St. George and the Dragon, but did you know that in Spain a festival is thrown every year in celebration of St. George, or San Jorge? To represent the dragon in this story, I chose a Pokemon in dire need of some love, Druddigon. And to better match the story, I think we could add the poison typing to it, changing its colors to purple and green to better show its new typing. You could also elongate the spikes on its arms to look like poisonous barbs.
Number 1.
The tale of Don Quixote is a seminal work of Spanish literature that tells the story of a man who reads one too many books of knights and chivalry before deciding it sounds like a pretty swell way to live one's life, and sets out to fulfill his own knightly duties that nobody assigned to him. Don Quixote, to put it lightly, is a confused gentleman. He has many misadventures throughout the book to which he is the titular character, one of which where he mistakes a bunch of windmills for giants, charges at them on horseback, lance aloft, and swiftly loses the joust as one of the sails on the windmill sends him soaring through the air. There are many interpretations of this story, some that consider Don Quixote to be a hapless dreamer fighting against the restrictions of modern society, but the original story is of an old man who is losing his mind, and is as much of a danger to himself as he is to the sheep he stabs when he mistakes them for an invading army. When reading about Don Quixote, I could only imagine one Pokemon being a stand-in for him, that being Spinda. This Pokemon embodies confusion. With its swirling eyes and unpredictable movements, throw a Barber's Basin on its head, add the steel typing, and you have the perfect reflection of Don Quixote. And if you do prefer the reading of the visionary trying to break free from the constraints of society, don't forget that every Spinda is unique, each with its own spot pattern. You can't be more of an individual than that. And there you have it, 5 regional variants that I feel we could see in the upcoming games. What did you think of them? And can you come up with any more of your own? Let me know in the comments below, because that's going to do it for today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you're joining me again on the next one. But until then, I'll catch you later. Be sure to subscribe, like, comment, ring the bell, do all the YouTube things, and I shall see you on the next episode.